For over a century, the dominant framework for explaining the origins of the first 5 books of the Bible has been the documentary hypothesis. This hypothesis divides the Pentateuch into 4 distinct literary sources, identified by the letters J, E, D, and P, representing the Jahwist, Elohist, Deuteronomist, and priestly texts. Various scholars propose that these literary sources were compiled over many centuries, reflecting an evolutionary timeline of ancient Israelite religion. The definitive version of this timeline was formalized in the late 19th century by the German biblical scholar Julius Wallhausen. Yet this sprawling multi-century architecture relies on a single point of structural dependency. The entire system is anchored to one specific text. That anchor is the Book of Deuteronomy. Wallhausen assigns a precise chronological date to this text, 621 BC, during King Josiah's reign. Academic literature frequently highlights the unique function of this date. Scholar Otto Eisfeld called it the Archimedean point of Pentateuchal criticism, while others have termed it the meridian of Greenwich for biblical timelines. Within this logic, the dates of J, E, and P are calculated relative to D. If that 621 BCE anchor moves, the entire chronological structure moves with it. Wellhausen's work relies on a foundational assumption of the late 19th century history of religion school, that religious systems evolve from primitive, decentralized practices into complex, centralized institutions. This chart maps out the progression of ancient Israel's legal codes, plotting them along that assumed evolutionary trajectory. The first major legal stage is the JE, or Covenant Code, found in the Book of Exodus. This code permits worship at multiple local altars and regional centers scattered across the land. The second stage of this evolution is the D, or Deuteronomic Code. Deuteronomy introduces an aggressive mandate demanding the strict centralization of all sacrificial worship to one chosen location, legally abolishing the regional altars. Historically, this singular geographical locus is identified as the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. This centralization required an entire nation to abandon their local sanctuaries and travel to a singular, monumental structure. For Wellhausen to validate his evolutionary timeline, he required a fixed historical moment where this legal shift from scattered altars to a centralized temple actually took place. The solution came from Wilhelm de Wet, who provided the exact chronological hook Wellhausen would later utilize. De Wet pointed to the historical account in 2 Kings, chapter 22, which details King Josiah's renovation of the Jerusalem temple. The narrative begins with the sudden discovery of a lost Book of the Law within the temple ruins. De Wet argued for dating Deuteronomy to this exact moment, claiming there is zero trace of Deuteronomic influence in any historical texts prior to Josiah's reign. However, this argument requires a circular caveat. Whenever traces of Deuteronomy appear in pre-Josiah texts, scholars dismiss those passages as later editorial insertions. This comparison shows how the specific actions King Josiah takes during his reform align with the unique mandates found in Deuteronomy. The most critical match is Josiah's forceful destruction of local sanctuaries in order to centralize worship in Jerusalem. Because the text matches the reforms so perfectly, De Wet concluded that the discovered book was a deliberate, pious fraud. In this view, Deuteronomy was not authored by Moses, but written in secret by Josiah's contemporaries, likely operatives like Hilkiah the priest or Shaphan the scribe. This was a covert fabrication by 7th century religious operatives to secure centralized power in Jerusalem. By this logic, Deuteronomy functions not as an ancient divine covenant, but as a calculated 7th century political weapon. This conceptual scale illustrates a methodological paradox at the center of the framework. The standard operating procedure of the historical critical method relies strictly on the analogy of history, maintaining a default bias against the miraculous. This bias routinely leads scholars to dismiss divine interventions and prophetic foresight as mythological inventions added by later writers. But there is a glaring exception to this rule of skepticism: the treatment of King Josiah in 2 Kings 22. To protect the 621 BC chronological anchor, scholars must apply absolute historical faith to the specifics of the Josiah narrative. Scholars who apply radical skepticism to the rest of the Pentateuch become defenders of strict historicity exactly when their timeline requires it. Without a historically reliable account of King Josiah's reforms, there is no fixed date for Deuteronomy, leaving the evolutionary theory without its chronometric anchor. Despite its status as popular consensus, the 621 BC date remains heavily contested within critical scholarship today. The academic clashes have been ongoing for decades. In 1928, the Journal of Biblical Literature published competing articles by scholars like Dahl, Bauer, and Patton, exposing the fractures in the consensus. One group of scholars pushes for a later, post-exilic origin for Deuteronomy. Another group argues for an earlier monarchical date, or a return to traditional Mosaic authorship. At stake in this debate is the survival of the entire critical framework. If the date of Deuteronomy is shifted by even a fraction of a century, the documentary hypothesis loses its mathematical center. Moving the keystone forces a total recalibration of the literary timeline, untethering the J, E, and P documents from their relative positions. The Wellhausen system remains vulnerable because its multi-century architecture balances entirely on a single, heavily stressed historical point.